Hi, I'm Julia, and you're watching Julia at Home. This year, our homeschool preschool is going around the world. No, we are not traveling. We will be visiting each continent through books and activities and food. So how is this going to work logistically? Now, this is an area where I've actually planned a little more than I do in my other subjects, mainly because if I don't, we won't get to all the continents by the end of the school year, and I would like to hit all of them at least a little bit. So we will be spending about a month on each continent, some a little less, like Antarctica is about 2 weeks, and some a little more, like Africa, which I think is closer to 2 months as it's one of my daughter's interests. Most weeks we will spend 1 time a week, sometimes 2, working on geography, and it will basically just look like reading books, maybe doing some coloring pages, coloring maps, or maybe we're making food during our baking time and cooking time that's related to a country in that continent we're studying, or maybe we're going to go out to dinner one night, or maybe we'll even do an inspired craft activity based on that continent. I'm not going to go into detail right now about which books we're studying for what countries and continents and all that, because I hope to do a video on each continent and what we've done. But for today, I just wanted to show you some of our general resources that we will be using throughout the year. The first resource I want to show you is our wall map. Big wall map. So it's actually right next to our dining room table. You can check out the placement of it in my schoolroom tour. And we actually look at it during dinner, but the plan is as we visit places, we will be putting dots where we visit. So I got these market dots, and they come in different colors, and I actually have them in this size and a smaller size. But the plan is when we read a story that's based in a country, like let's say we read something that takes place in Canada, which we will be doing in a couple weeks, we can stick a map dot on Canada so that they're connecting where we are, and then hopefully we will have dots all over the world by the end of the year. We also already stuck little dots, and I'm not sure if you can see them there. We're studying Van Gogh and Beethoven, so we put dots where they live, or where they were born, really, so that we're already connecting things to our map. So these are our around the world binders. Actually, my daughter has one and my son has one. This is my daughter's. I've blocked out her name, but she colored this. She spent about 2 weeks worth of geography sessions already working on this one. And then inside there is a one of these, I didn't stick it back in yet, but what would you call this? Plastic dividers with tabs for each continent, and I've already labeled the continents. This one will actually be stuck inside here so that there'll be a map that they've colored for each continent as we go, and then we can stick in here any other things. I'm printing out maps with the names of the countries in them, and then we'll probably have some coloring pages, and hopefully I can get to printing out pictures of any sort of activities we do as well that we can keep in here, so it's also a keepsake for them. And then it again kind of helps them. I think the physical organization helps me at least organize things in my mind as to where things are and what goes together. Along with this, I also made us little passports. So we each have one. I have one as well. I'm showing you my daughter's. Yes. So inside I made it look a little bit like a passport with their name and date of birth and state. And I even put out to the continent because, you know, we're studying continents. And then there is a page for each continent. So we started with North America. And then we haven't gotten to this part yet because we've only done more of an introduction to North America. But we will be putting flag stickers for each of the countries we visit. So this next coming week we will do the United States. That is where we live, so that's where we're starting. And we'll put the U.S. flag on this page. The next week we'll be doing Canada, so the Canadian flag will go on this page. And I just did enough pages for all the continents plus the Middle East, which I'm actually doing as a separate. I know it's not a continent; it's part of Asia, but it's really has its own culture, and I really wanted to share that with my kids. So we will be doing the Middle East separately, and you might have noticed that on the tabs over here. I plan on showing you as we go along in each continent what we add to them, so that should be fun. These are the little stamps I got for the passports. So this is the North America. There's one for each continent and 2 for Antarctica, so we'll have to decide which one we want to put in. And then I will probably just print out and we'll cut out and glue in an outline of the Middle East when we get there in our passports. I got these, I think I got these on eBay, so I apologize, I don't even know what the company was that they're from. But yeah, I'm excited about this. It's always fun to do stamping the kids like that. These are the general resource books that we're using for our geography study that aren't really specific to a continent or country. This is the maps book. It is gorgeous. You can see it has a spread for each continent and then a selection of countries from that continent. It does not have every continent in here, but the ones it does have, I think are beautiful and well done. And it has, so here's Russia. It just has all sorts of things, animals, people, food, things that you would think of when you think of Russia. So that's a really cool thing for the kids to look at. This is another fun world atlas for kids. This one folds out, and there's just one spread per continent, so it doesn't go into countries. But there's some really fun things, and there's the little books and just more information. The kids like looking through these as well. You can already tell it's gotten some use. I had to take that one there. So that's World Atlas. This is the Usborne Geography Encyclopedia, and it is, as it says, an encyclopedia, much more than an atlas. So it does have maps. Well, we have flags back here. It does have maps in the back, but it also has information on the people and different cultural aspects and beautiful pictures from each continent and area of the world as well. So that's amazing. We can just open to North America here, and you can kind of see from the pictures, you get a feel for that country or that continent or that area. And then the front has more general, even scientific information about the world. So it really is an encyclopedia, not just an atlas. And this is something that I think we will get great use out of for many years. I highly recommend this one. Children Just Like Me is a bit of an older one, and I think this one actually belonged to myself and my siblings when we were younger. You can see some of the outfits are a little outdated, but it goes through children that live in different countries around the world, and they talk about what their life is like living in that country. So, children love to connect with other children, and my daughter has quite the imagination. I think this could really help her imagine, what if I was, in India, or what if I lived in Vietnam as opposed to where I live now. So I think that's going to be a really fun one for us to look at together. This was a resource for me, not so much for the kids to look at, but it's a book list of books from around the world, or highlighting areas around the world, I should say. And it was the perfect way for me to jumpstart deciding which books we are going to read. So it breaks it down by continent or area. So you can see this section is Africa, and then it breaks it down by age. So it tells you 4 to 6, 6 to 8, and 8 to 10. So I started with books in the 4 to 6 range, as that is where my daughter is, and went from there. And then I did, this was a good starting point, and I venture to say that a lot of the books we're going to read are in here, but there's a couple that I've also found, like when you go on Amazon and you you look up a book and that tells you, and we recommend these ones. So there's a couple more I found that way, and then just looking at our library and what they had. But this is an amazing resource for any parent or teacher or caregiver who wants to give their child the world or do a study of different parts of the world. This is our Montessori world puzzle map. So it's a puzzle of the continents. And these are the Montessori colors for the continents here. And that's what I'm trying to stick with, these colors. Of course, I'm adding the Middle East as its own area for us to study. And so I'm designating that as purple. But we just use it like this. I can kind of say, can you give me Africa? And they could give me Africa. And then at the end, we could, take them all out and put them back in. And it's a really good tactile and visual way to learn the continent.